Hey guys, what's up? Today is going to be a shorter video looking at the trade for Golden Tate. Lions just traded him yesterday to the Philadelphia Eagles for a third-round pick. So I really don't have enough time to get into all my thoughts on this today, but basically Golden Tate wasn't going to be here next year, and we got a third-round pick for him. In any situation, that's a pretty good trade. You're not going to see that very often. A guy traded for a third-round pick who's not going to be on your team next year, because other teams know that. The only reason the Eagles gave up a third-round pick is because they're in a window right now where they have to re-sign a lot of guys in the next couple of years. So they want to get Golden Tate on a one-year deal, and that's what they got. They got Golden Tate on a one-year deal for very cheap, and that's why the Eagles did that, and that's why the Lions got a third-round pick. Now, as far as Golden Tate on the Lions, he was our best receiver. But not by as much as he was in the past. In the past, he was our best receiver by a good margin. But I do think Kenny Golladay has definitely closed that gap by quite a bit, and he's getting very close. Now, I don't think Kenny Golladay is the best route runner, which is probably something we're going to address in the draft. I would assume we're probably going to draft some kind of slot receiver because we really don't have any kind of receiver with really good route running on this team right now, unless that guy's going to be Brandon Powell or Theo Riddick. I think Theo Riddick could fill that role, but I honestly don't think they'll try that. Now, from Golden Tate's perspective, this is pretty nice because he's able to play on a real playoff contender now for the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl last year, and I know they're not winning their division right now, I don't think, but that division's very tight, so they definitely still have a chance to go out and win their division and get into the playoffs and have a deep run this year. Especially with Carson Wentz and all that stuff they got going on in that offense. I mean, it could be really good for him. And now that we have an extra third-round pick, there's a very good chance the Lions might actually trade up in the first round next year to get a pass rusher. Next year's draft class is one of the deepest draft classes I've ever seen for pass rushers. I think there's something like 10 or 15 guys that could go in the first round on the defensive line, and most of them are pass rushers. That's really good because that's what the Lions need really bad. But yeah, having that third-round pick could let us trade up maybe 3 or 4 spots, maybe even more, depending on what team we're trading with and what they need. And it also could allow us to trade up in the second round possibly and get a corner, because we definitely need some cornerback help on this team. I mean, overall, I do think this is a really good move for Bob Quinn, and it was a smart move. You know, we weren't going to be able to afford Golden Tate going forward. Golden Tate, I believe 2 years ago, was complaining about his contract right after signing it, basically, because other guys were getting paid, and he wanted to get a pay raise, and we couldn't do it, and we can't do it now. We wouldn't be able to re-sign him. I know for sure he would probably want to get over $14, maybe $15 million a year, maybe even more, and for a 30-year-old receiver, you just can't do that as a football team, unless you're one player away from making it to the Super Bowl or making a deep run in the playoffs. You can't do that, and the Lions are not one player away from making a deep run in the playoffs. The Lions are not probably going to make the playoffs this year unless they win the division, and we're in last place for our division right now. We have the least amount of wins, and there's 2 teams in our division with a tie, which means we'd have to have more wins than that team. We can't be tied with that team, basically. So yeah, overall, I do think it's a really good move going forward. Now, Golden Tate was probably my favorite player on this team outside of Darius Slay, but it was in the best interest of the Lions to move on now and get that third-round pick because he wasn't going to be on the team next year anyway, and that one player was not going to make a difference between us making the playoffs or not making the playoffs. Overall, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.